NCAA and USA South Athletic Conference promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial, or sexist comments or intimidating actions directed at coaches, players, officials, or any other team representatives will not be tolerated in our grounds for removal. The consumption or possession of alcoholic beverages is strictly prohibited. Thank you, and please enjoy this evening's game. In accordance with tradition at Southern Virginia University, we'll begin with a word of prayer, which will be offered by Jaron Paleka, a member of the school's football team.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this opportunity to be here tonight. Heavenly Father, please bless both teams that they can be able to play hard, do their best, and be safe. Thank you for all the families that came out, and please bless that we can all go home safely afterwards. And we say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Now, if you will all please rise and face the flag for the playing of our nation's national anthem. Starting lineups. Starting for the Pride. At outside hitter, junior number 1, Kelsey Brooks. At setter, junior number 3, Jalen Templeton. At defensive specialist, sophomore number 4, Grace Young. At middle blocker, junior number 10, Taylor Cody. At middle blocker, junior number 11, Carla De Castillo. At outside hitter, senior number 12, Krista Brantley. Net libero for the Pride, sophomore number 0, Morgan Mayfield. The Pride are coached by Kevin Troop and assisted by Natalie Rosinski and Chuck Morris.
Good evening and welcome everybody to the barn for this much anticipated USA South matchup between the number 1 currently in the standings tied number 1 US or Southern Virginia University women's volleyball team. They'll be up against the next place currently number 4 Greensboro College Pride.
And now starting for the night.
And Mark, this is going to be a big matchup tonight.
Absolutely. These two teams are so evenly matched statistically speaking. Like looking through the combined stats for the teams, they are so neck and neck. Greensboro taking the last matchup 2 weeks ago. Greensboro is a game back behind in the standings, but we are expecting a real tight one tonight.
Absolutely. Kind of to make sense of the opening there. Currently we have Southern Virginia, Salem College, and Methodist all tied for first with a record of 13-3 in the USA South. And then Greensboro just one game behind that trio at 12-4. So, like you mentioned, Mark, Greensboro brought down this SVU team in the first matchup a couple weeks ago.
Absolutely, and the huge takeaway from that game was the error differential. Specifically in the 2 series that Greensboro won by the largest margin by 8 points or more. In those two series, SVU had 14 errors. Greensboro only had 3. So it's up to in the other two series, one that SVU won and one that SVU lost by just 4 points. The error margin was much smaller, even SVU winning. But if they're going to want to win in this game, they have to make sure they're forcing Greensboro into errors and limiting their own as much as possible to avoid what happened 2 weeks ago.
Absolutely, as is almost always the case. It's a matter of who can force the errors and can minimize the errors on their own side.
Absolutely. SVU tends to play a style of volleyball that's super powerful and super rush, and it leads to their opponents committing a lot of errors, but also themselves committing a lot of errors. Whereas Greensboro is a great defensive team. They're #1 in the USA South in digs, and not by a small margin either. They are a great defensive team. They're great at limiting their own errors. Obviously not as explosive and powerful as this SVU's offense, so we'll see which wins out there, the explosiveness and large error potential for SVU, or the consistent less error potential for Greensboro.
Absolutely, very, very well pointed out, Mark. Real quick, we'll go down to starters for the visiting Greensboro Pride. Have the liberos, #0, Morgan Mayfield. Also starting #1, Kelsey Brooks. We'll get to those two a little bit later in the broadcast. #3, Jaylyn Templeton. #4, Grace Young. #10, Taylor Kotai. #11, Carla Del Castillo and Krista Brantley round out the starters. And for the home Knights from Southern Virginia University, we have #2, Gabby Green. #3, Brenna Hyde. #4, Sydney Bassett. #6, Jessica Stone. #8, Ruby Blaymeyers. #21, Caitlin Linkier. 23, Summer Hahn. And 23, Brooklyn Madeline, with Gracie Fulton as the libero. And that first serve by Brooklyn Madeline sails long and out of bounds, so that'll be the first point of the match.
That's been Brooklyn Madeline. She's one of the leaders in aces in the USA South, but she also does a lot of service errors. She's boom or bust there in the back.
As so often is the case for some of those players, it's a little risk involved, but it's a risk-reward proposition.
Absolutely.
As we see Greensboro return the favor with a serve into the net, even things up at 1-1, and Gracie Fulton back to serve for the Knights. Tipped up and over by Kelsey Brooks. And double hit called there. Point will go to Greensboro. So Kelsey Brooks, we talked briefly about Mark earlier in the, we're preparing here. She's currently 8th in the USA South in kills and 9th in total points scored. There's a dig by Morgan Mayfield.
Yeah, and going back to Kelsey Brooks, she has been the engine for this Greensboro offense. She's been extremely effective. She's the one that can go toe-to-toe with SVU's best, with Sydney Bassett and with Brooklyn Madeline, so you'll see a lot of her today in this game.
Blaymeyers sets up Summer Hahn, and then the block recovered by Madeline. Good block again by Summer Hahn. And number 12, Krista Brantley, goes off the block and scores a point for Greensboro. We're now 4-1 here with Greensboro taking an early lead. Blaymeyer sets that up for Bassett, and Bassett hits that a little long. So Knights maybe a little out of sync here offensively to start, Mark.
Yeah, and we saw this starting against Meredith College on Saturday. Saturday, SVU started out real rough, losing the first set to Meredith, but then going 3 straight, they really got into sync right there. So we'll see if this goes out the same, or if SVU can get in sync here in this first set.
That'll help things along right there. Yes, Sydney Bassett They go right back to her. She hits one down hard, scores the point for the Knights.
Absolutely. Sydney Bassett has been absolutely tremendous this season. She's second in kills and points in the USA South. She has been just dominant like she's been every season.
Service there by Blaymeyers. Greensboro has a little bit of trouble, and that'll go for the third point of the match here for the Knights. They sit down by 2. Blaymeyers. Krista Brantley again with the touch up and over the block. And that'll bring it 6-3 for Greensboro.
And this is an interesting trend I've seen with SVU is that they tend to, especially in the beginning of games in the first set, tend to fall to those tips really easily. But then as time goes on, they defend those much better and then get a lot of opportunities for their offense because of that good defense.
Chelsea Brooks goes on the defensive there with the dig, but an errant pass. That'll be a point for the Knights. So your point's well taken, Mark. It has been a little bit of a problem for the Knights early on in many of their matches, early on in that first set. A little susceptible to the touch. Bassett now back to serve. Bassett digs. Hit by Blaymeyers. And number 6 rather, that is Peyton Wright for the Pride. She takes the angles, able to score a point. 7-4 now, Greensboro. Brantley on the serve. Blaymeyers sets up the quick set for Brenna Clyde. Maybe a little bit of a change up there.
Absolutely. And it's really nice to see them going to Brenna Clyde real early. She struggled a little bit in their last game against Greensboro, only having 8 kills, which is not her usual. So a great look there for SVU getting Brenna Clyde involved so soon.
And that will go off the block of Caitlin Wankier. And points scored. So I think for Brenna Clyde, she's a returner. She's been such a good player for so long in this program. I think perhaps maybe some of those struggles have to do with the defenses and really the offense, really focusing on her and trying to get her out of that hitting position. And so maybe her numbers are a little down this year, but she's so effective.
Absolutely, and she's effective because of how well Sydney Bassett and Brooklyn Madeline's numbers have gone up because of her low numbers.
Speaking of Madeline, she gets the kill there to bring the Knights to within 2 now.
Jessica Stone to serve for the Knights.
Jessica Stone back to serve. Chelsea Brooks from the back row. Madeline's able to send that over. And that ball will go wide. Off the kill by Greensboro, and that will bring the Knights to within 1. Several good scoring runs have been started this season by Jessica Stone serving.
Absolutely, she's been extremely effective back there.
Off the block of Caitlin White here, and the Knights even the score up at 8-8 here in this first set.
And it took a while, but those blockers finally got their hands on the ball well there. Greensboro really doing well of working their way around those blocks and getting points off SVU with those blocks. So a really good start for SVU right there.
And there's an ace by Stone. It doesn't take long for, doesn't take too long for this coaching staff to find the adjustments that they need to make, shift their defense around. Of course, you got Coach John Baker calling the serves. And Stone, a little uncharacteristic for her, hits that one into the net. So Greensboro go back up by 1, or rather, even it up 9-9 here in this first set.
And Grace Klingensmith, she's the one back to serve right now. She's third in service aces in the USA South.
That serve handled. And off the block, Brooklyn Manlin with the kill.
Now serving.
10-9 Knights.
That was a great opportunity for the Knights to just not even worry about Klingensmith back there serving. The Knights can give up a lot of service aces, so that was really good by the Knights.
A little one and done there, if you will. And there's Kelsey Brooks. She makes her way back to the front row and gets the kill. Jalen Templeton back to serve for the Pride. That sails long. And the Knights quickly take another 1-point lead.
And that just takes so much discipline to let that ball go out. They have to have a good eye and a good sense for the game right there, and then good discipline to just be able to restrict yourself.
Communication there by the players on the court and the bench helping them with that. And Greensboro gets a point off the kill from the back row. A little bit of help from the net. Kelsey Brooks back to serve. Roy Myers for Bassett. Bassett with the kill.
And Sydney Bassett has been an absolute game changer this season. Right now she already has 2 kills here in this set, and they're looking to, it seems like they're looking to rack her up some more.
Blay Myers. And that's number 12, Krista Brantley again, pulling the block for a point.
Morgan Mayfield to serve.
And Greensboro has gotten several points off those missed blocks like that. It has been an extremely effective strategy for Greensboro to just attack those blocks instead of trying to work around them.
Yeah, Knights be looking to make an adjustment with that. There's Bassett. The dig comes back over to the net, and Brenna Clyde sends it down.
That was just a heads-up play right there. You don't practice that in practice, but you got to know in the game when to do that, and she knew right there. That was her moment, and she took it.
Eyes can get a little big, a little wide when you see that coming over, and Brenna Clyde didn't miss. There's a little touch by Brantley. And Brenna Clyde gets blocked. She's able to dig it out herself. Madeline. And that's number 6 again, Peyton Wright. Into the block and gets the kill. 13 all here in this first set. Fulton. Madeline takes a good swing. Good defense by the Knights. Brenna Clyde. Peyton Wright, dug by Morgan Mayfield. Good rally once again here. Madeline goes with the angle. That's dug by the Pride. And number 10, Taylor Kotai.
And right there, Greensboro just ready for any time SVU tried to place the ball, tried to tip it over. They are an extremely good defensive team, and right there, well coached. You can see they are extremely conditioned to make sure they have always someone watching the tip.
Good block by Madeline. You can really see there now Greensboro. They're really overstacking this left side here. You're waiting for that set to go to Madeline. It'll be interesting to see what adjustment they make. As Madeline goes long with the angle. Greensboro takes a 1-point lead. Brenna Clyde with the kill. Good to see the Knights mix
Bailey
that up a little
Savage,
bit,
to
try the
serve.
other side.
Yeah, they've been effective when they've gone over to that side. They just haven't gone over there very much.
Bailey Savage on to serve for the Knights. Good swing there by Taylor Kotai. She was up in the air a while. She just let that ball float until she had the angle that she wanted.
Yeah, if you can win the timing game, you're going to get a lot of those blocks and or kills right there up front.
Going to try Doug. Morgan Mayfield. Good defense by Brenna Clyde, all alone over there. And there's a kill with Brooklyn Madeline. Well, you mentioned the good defense, Mark, of Greensboro. And, you know, it's 15-15 in the first set. We haven't really even talked about Morgan Mayfield. We've said her name a couple times, but what a player. You can already see it. She is all over the floor.
Absolutely, and usually she is this week's Defensive Player of the Week in the USA South. And she's not one to go up and block. So she's not huge on that defensive front, but it's just the fact that she gets incredible digs and a lot of them constantly.
Blocked there by Caitlin Wink here. The Knights go back up 16-15. Yeah, immediately when I looked and saw, you know, we found out she was a Defensive Player of the Week, I looked and noticed she was 5 feet 2 inches. So you know she's not doing it with the blocking, but she's been very impressive this first set already. Blaymeyers for Madeline. She goes angle, and that's dug by Morgan Mayfield. And Kelsey Brooks able to hit between the block and score for the Pride. You know, one last thing, Mark, going back to Morgan Mayfield, you said averaging over 6 digs per set.
Yes.
To me, that just seems, you know, otherworldly.
Yeah, and it kind of is. I mean, you said it's not lethal blocking. She does lethal digging. Just when you think you have a defense dead to rights, she comes in and revitalizes Greenboro's chances at any given point.
Brooklyn Madeline with the cross-court kill. And that serve was off the hand of Grace Klingensmith. So once again, the Knights are able to go one and done with Klingensmith at the service. One of the USA South's leading servers.
Yeah, they know when to attack when they're at the most vulnerable, and that was really good there by SVU again.
Kelsey Brooks into the block. It comes over easy for the Knights. And Sydney Bassett just a little long. So we got the score here now, 17-17 in this first set. A good set that it's been so far, Mark.
Absolutely, back and forth, no one getting any real separation besides the 2 early runs, first by Greensboro and then by SVU to tie it back up.
Sydney Bassett with a kill.
And see, even with how close this first set has been with SVU retaking the lead there, you got to feel that SVU will take control of this game at some point. At some point, their blockers will get more consistent. At some point, their attacks will go through a bit better. So you just got to feel that SVU has a slight advantage here, despite it only being a 1-point game in the first set.
And right there, that could turn out to be a big point right there. Nice to come up big defensively and score a point, so it's 19-17. SVU now is Coach Kevin Troop takes Greensboro first time out of the evening. So we're 19-17 here. Knights, 2 points ahead, which is their biggest lead of the set so far. Like you said, Mark, maybe they can grab some momentum right here and finish the set strong.
Absolutely, and this is a good timeout by Coach Troop over there for Greensboro, because so far Greensboro has been extremely disciplined there on the backups for those tips, and right there was their first crack in that discipline. So getting that timeout immediately, getting them right back on track, it's a good call by Greensboro. But we'll see how Coach Baker also responds here with a 2-point lead, trying to finish out the set, both time for her. So we'll see how this goes coming out of the timeout.
Yeah, Coach Baker, she has very good success coming out of timeouts typically. And of course, that's the whole point that Coach Troop called that one over there, because he knows, 1917, his team can't afford any more errors in this set.
Yeah, it's going to be extremely close from here on out. So far throughout this set, Brooklyn Madeline, Brenna Clyde, and Sydney Bassett all have 3 kills. That SVU front 3, they're just extremely dominant on the offensive end.
And a lot of balance there with the attack. We mentioned that, there was a series here where the set just kept going to Brooklyn Madeline here on this left side. And after about 3 where it didn't work out, they went to Brenna Clyde on the right, scored a point. That seemed to open things up a little bit for them to make the little run that they have here now. Gracie Fulton comes over easy for the Knights. Blaymeyers for Bassett. That one's dug by Greensboro, and then a little miscommunication, even though that was an easier ball that came over. That was number 4, Grace Young, with the dig for the Pride.
And it looks like there might have been a scoring error before the timeout, so it's actually tied 19-19 instead of SVU up 1 after that point.
Good call there. Touched, and of course, Morgan Mayfield there to pick that one up. And Peyton Wright goes with the angle, and that puts Greensboro up 20-19.
So right there, already seeming like an extremely effective timeout for Greensboro.
Bassett gets blocked. Greensboro really keying on Bassett now in that front row. They blocked her twice, and they'll come away with the point now to take a 2-point lead at 21-19.
Absolutely. Those are some really easy digs they're getting off those blocks. And Bassett, she hits the ball incredibly hard, so you can't really blame her. That is just extremely great play right there from the front of Greensboro. I mean, you have Kelsey Brooks and Jalen Templeton up there. Templeton 5'10", and Kelsey Brooks 5'11", so an extremely tall front up there, just giving you a lot of opportunity to direct those shots and get easy digs. And that's really the difficulty of trying to score on this Greensboro team, is that if they don't give you a tip and an easy dig, they can make all the hard digs too. They're going to keep the ball in play as long as possible and wear you down. Even if you have the better hitters, even if you have the better attackers, the better defense, they'll just wear you down until you lose.
And that's really kind of been the story of this first set. Thinking back to the set, Morgan Mayfield, we talked about her. But Kelsey Brooks, she played some good defense on the back line, very good rotation back there. Grace Young, she's been very effective as well.
Yeah, Kelsey Brooks actually, so far in this first set, has more digs than Mayfield. Mayfield probably has the more impressive digs, but 7 for Brooks and 5 for Mayfield coming out of this timeout.
So it's Brooks back to serve. Blaymeyers sets that up for Bassett. Puts it easy to the center court. And then that's number 11, Carla de Castillo. Just looking to place that there in the middle of the Knights' defense. And Greensboro now up 3. And that serve sells long by Brooks. 22-20. Brenna Clyde will come on for Jessica Stone. And Ruby Blaymeyers goes back to serve.
And this is where SVU can really make a long run or shoot themselves in the foot with a service error. So either one tends to happen for SVU.
And service error long. So Knights down by 3, 23-20.
I promise I don't predict the future, I just read the trends.
And Coach Debbie Baker will call her second timeout in this first set.
Well, you'd have to imagine this is desperation time for this set. This is the last opportunity you have to save this set from going to Greensboro.
Yeah, right here, you're 23-20. You've got to win this point right here and get the service back, and then hopefully you can score a couple points, even up the match, and just extend it as long as possible. You know, if you can go 5 in a row, great. But at this point, you got to keep Greensboro off getting that 24th point here. Try and even it up before you get that far.
Yep, because as long as Greensboro gets that 24th point, then the points you need to win go from 5 to 6, and all of a sudden your deficit gets 2 points bigger, even though Greensboro only gets 1 point.
Yeah.
So
Once you get to that 24, that's when your back's against the wall. You cannot let the ball hit the floor. You know, go into the net, whatever it might be. You know, that's why this point right here. You know, it's like Coach Baker called it right here. You know, 23, rather than giving them one more opportunity, we had to call it right now. Get this point and then see if we can't make a little bit of a run.
absolutely.
So it's Mayfield, serve for the Pride. Good serve.
Sydney Bassett and Summer Hahn.
Sydney Bassett, Summer Hahn with the block. So good thing Summer Hahn, if she's in the game, you can count on a couple blocks.
Absolutely. She's third in blocks in the USA South. She's been just dominant up there in the front. Quiet game so far from her, but I expect we'll see more.
And that flies out of bounds. So just like we were discussing during the timeout, Knights came in, they won the service point from Greensboro, and now they've scored a point to bring it to within 23-22. Bassett to serve. And that ball sails wide.
Timeout.
Greensboro tried to hit the angle, and the Knights have tied it up 23 apiece here in this first set.
And that's about as perfect as you could draw it up. I mean, SVU missed on that first offensive opportunity coming into that service point, but that great defense just gave the ball right back, and it's just been nothing but smooth sailing these last 2 points for SVU. Exactly how you draw it up as a coach coming out of the timeout.
Absolutely. So SVU forces Coach Kevin Troop from Greensboro to spend his second timeout in this set as well. When we come back onto the floor, we'll have Sydney Bassett once again on service for the Knights. She'll be looking to get a point. See if the Knights can't get that all-important number 24 point of the match.
Exactly.
Set, rather.
Well, and if you're Greensboro, this would be the absolute worst case scenario. You're up by 3, just need 1 more point to force it to set point, and then if you give up the run here, the 5-point run to lose the set, that is devastating. That if you end up losing the game entirely, you're going to look back at this first set and think, man, what we could have had if we had just held on right there.
Especially when you're on the road, first set, you're up 23-20. So
23 apiece.
remains to be seen what will happen. Sydney Bassett now serving for the lead for the Knights. Good service, that's coming over. And Greensboro into the net. Sydney Bassett will now be serving for the set.
That's one of Greensboro's few errors so far in this game, but a very ill-timed one.
Blocked there by Brenna Clyde and Summer Hahn. Goes cross court, off the ceiling. Knights will be able to send that one over. Greensboro setting up their offense again. And that's number 3, Jaylyn Templeton with the kill. 24 all with Krista Brantley back to serve for the Pride. Gracie Fulton, Brooklyn Madeline. Fulton with the dig. Hahn and Clyde again with the block. They'll try it again. And that'll be a point for the Knights.
Once again, we
And right there, you finally saw those front two start to really assert themselves. They've been getting hosed all set with points for Greensboro coming off their blocks. Right there, taking advantage when the moment mattered most.
Bailey Savage with the ace to take the set. What a battle by the Knights, coming back from a 23-20 deficit to score 6 of the next 7 points and take the set 26-24.
Yeah, you couldn't have imagined almost a more perfect ending to that set for SVU. And if you're Greensboro going up 5-1 to start the game and then going up 23-20, you're going to want this one back if you end up losing this game. But, I mean, can we talk about that serve? Holy cow, you could not have placed that more perfectly if you're Bailey Savage there on that serve.
Absolutely not. And let's not, I don't know if anybody runs back the broadcast a little bit, but the previous point had barely hit the ground. And Bailey Savage was off the bench up ready to check in. She was up there knowing that it was her. She was getting that serve, and she came through.
Absolutely. That kind of felt, I mean, I'm a big basketball fan. And so if you watch the NBA Finals, Peyton Pritchard coming in at the end of corners just to make a half-court buzzer beater right there. That's what Bailey Savage did right there. A half-court buzzer beater to win that set. SVU coming back from down huge in that set.
So now we will go here. We got a little break here between sets. During this break, we'll go ahead and run down our sponsors real quick. We appreciate everybody that's a sponsor of SVU Broadcasting, Night Athletics. We got Papa John's, locally owned and operated here in Buena Vista. We have Cornerstone Bank, Straws, Drinks and Eats. That's a favorite of so many. We have Mill Creek Orthodontics, the Beeve, Sweet Souvenirs, local ice cream shop. It's always busy, almost any night of the week. You take a walk to downtown Buena Vista. Then, of course, Katana, Sushi, and Hibachi Express down on the corner of 19th and Magnolia. Appreciate everybody that gives sponsors, and appreciate all those SVU students go down and support the sponsors as well. So,
absolutely. I mean, like it's just so sweet in a town this small and here in beautiful Buena Vista. It's really awesome to see the town band together. All these small little local-owned businesses working together to really make SVU sports happen and be something to be proud of here in Buena Vista.
No, absolutely. There's nothing quite like coming to the campus of SVU to watch a ball game, whether you're up, at the fields watching football or rugby or soccer or softball, whatever it may be going on up there. Just a beautiful place to be, especially this time of year with the fall colors out. Or you come down here to the barn, it's literally a barn. It's past life. And, it gets loud, a little ruckus here, but the SVU students love it. The visiting teams, I don't think they appreciate it as much, but, part of sports is having some type of a home court advantage, and that definitely exists for SVU when anything's played here inside the barn. So.
Absolutely, and given a more volleyball-specific one, the roof, that really low roof for the barn. I mean, obviously SVU practices in it, so they know what it is and they know how to deal with it. But often for away teams coming here, that roof can be a killer. We saw it earlier with Greensboro where they hit one of the lights and it completely ruined their defensive possession, even though they had a really good dig.
And a few points later, there was one that it spent some time up there. It was out of our vision because it was on the other side of the vent up there. But it hit, it probably traveled 10, 12 feet, but the SVU defense, accustomed to it, they just stuck with it.
Jalen Templeton to serve to get us started.
Yep, absolutely.
Jalen Templeton, first serve of the second set. And Sydney Bassett with the kill.
Gracie Bolton to serve.
So, Mark, it'll be interesting to see the first 10, 12 points of this set to see how the teams come off of that momentum. Both teams, SVU positive momentum, Greensboro maybe a little negative momentum out of that first set. What will they do the first 10, 12 points of this second set?
Absolutely, and it looks right here, SVU will just continue their pound it, high velocity, high power front attack right there. Greensboro will continue playing the smart play, getting good positioning, good blocks to force the ball out of bounds on the attack for SVU. So seems like that'll be the strategy going forward with these two teams.
Kelsey Brooks with the serve. Blaymeyers. Fulton will play it over. Brantley. No. Good defense again by Morgan Mayfield. Blaymeyers sends it to the back line. There's a dig by Brooklyn Madeline. Dug there by Jessica Stone. And Bassett with the little touch. And there goes Summer Hahn. Summer Hahn goes up like she's going to take a big swing. She's able to pull back and just tip it right over the top of the block and score the second point of the match for the Knights.
Well, and that's the beauty of Summer Hahn's wind-up, is that it's always that slow and methodical, of big power-up. And so she knows how to just hold that for a tip instead of a big smack like that.
Blocked there by Brenna Clyde. And the kill! Flying high, Brenna Clyde with the block and the kill.
And I've watched a few SVU volleyball games, and I swear no one quite gets the velocity that Brenna Clyde does off her swing. It is crazy how much power she has when getting up and high like that.
Blaymeyers back to serve. Mayfield. Good swing. That is Krista Brantley for the Pride.
Morgan Mayfield to serve.
And that was a very necessary point right there for Greensboro. We saw against Meredith College on Saturday that SVU they'll take a 4 or 5 point lead and go on a streak, and then they'll just be back and forth until they win the set. So very important point right there.
Serve. Gracie Fulton, she'll take the blame on that. I'm sure she's happy to say that's on me. She doesn't want to give it an ace. It'll be scored an ace, but Gracie Fulton takes responsibility for that.
Yeah, Gracie Fulton normally doesn't take responsibility for that either. She's usually very good at not letting that happen.
Absolutely. Not something you see her do often. Krista Brantley goes up and with the block, scores the point off of the Brenna Clyde attempt. So Greensboro now scored 3 points here with Morgan Mayfield at the serve. And that will sell wide of court.
And Morgan Mayfield right there doing a tribute to Bailey Savage right there.
An ace. I thought I saw the referee say that was out, but no, it's an ace for Morgan Mayfield.
And she did a tribute there to Bailey Savage there from the ace at the end of the set.
Blaymeyers for Clyde. Taylor Kotai and Krista Brantley. Go up and stuff that attempt by Brenna Clyde.
That's 5 straight points for Greensboro. A really great run they're going on right now.
Bassett. A good swing by Bassett, and Morgan Mayfield just about brought that up off the ground.
Yeah. Well, and right there you saw from SVU, they'd been going to Brenna Clyde and they'd been getting stuffed and getting dug really well. Right there, switching gears to Sydney Bassett immediately pays dividends.
That's a good point. Let's see if they get a little bit more balance in their attack. They're going to have to distribute a little bit more. Keep those blockers, see if they can't keep those blockers from doubling up on one side.
That's been SVU's bread and butter. If we look at the leaders so far in kills, you have Brooklyn Madeline with 6, Brenna Clyde with 4, and Sydney Bassett with 4. So very well spread out for SVU. If they keep that up, that should be good.
And that's a service error from Bassett. So 7-4 Greensboro. So this second set following much the same script as the first set, where Greensboro has the upper hand early. Good kill there by Brooklyn Madeline. That was an all or nothing right there.
Absolutely, and well, that's the benefit of switching it around. You get the blockers not quite set and not ready to block it, and you get points like that. That's what Greensboro was doing to SVU. The whole entire first set was getting points off those blocks that way.
Now Bailey Savage. Roy Myers for Clyde.
Clyde.
And that'll go off the block for a point. Knights.
Well, right there, Brenna Clyde, she kind of lowered her velocity there, which led the block to not be well timed like it was earlier when she was getting blocked every hit. So really good play there by Brenna Clyde.
Another point for the Knights. That squares the score at 7 each here in this second set.
And you're right, very similar to the script of the first set.
Kelsey Brooks from the back row. Boy Myers for Madeline. That's blocked. Brenna Clyde's able to send it over. And Caitlin Wright puts it right in the middle of Brenna Clyde and Caitlin Winkier. And they put that one down. And the Knights go ahead now, 8-7.
And so Greensboro had a 5-point run. Now SVU is on a 4-point run. That's just been the way it went in the first set. It's the way it's going now.
Bailey Savage once again with the serve. Boy Myers now. A little miscommunication between her and Winkier. To Madeline. Goes off the block, and Morgan Mayfield with the diving effort goes for naught, and the Knights take a 2-point lead now at 9-7.
And that's the sign of a good defensive player, Morgan Mayfield, is that when your first mistake comes, it's already in the second set.
And Bailey Savage gets a little too much of that one. That serve will sell long. And the serve will now go over to Greensboro.
Grace Young to serve.
Grace Young, she goes back to serve for the Pride. Madeline. Tipped there by number 10, Taylor Kotai. Get by Madeline again into the Greensboro block. Sydney Bassett. She gives it a swing from the back row, and that sells just long. And so Greensboro evens the score at 9 here in the second set. Grace Young back to serve once again.
And that front for Greensboro, they're blocking nearly everything. This has been an incredible defensive showing.
And Brenna Clyde. She's able to find a seam in that block. Knights go ahead, 10-9.
Jessica Stone to serve.
Jessica Stone comes on to serve. Now, Knights would be happy to see her go on one of her little runs right here. Roy Myers for Bassett from the back row. Mayfield keeps it alive, but the Knights go ahead and score that point as well.
And again, it's like I said, this game is close, but you gotta feel like SVU's front three, that power of Brenna Clyde, Sydney Bassett, and Brooklyn Madeline is gonna win through. I mean, half the reason this set right here is so close is that Greensboro has 2 service aces, SVU has 2 service errors. So really big disparity here in the actual attacking of both teams.
Good defense by the Knights. Winkier gets a piece of that spike. Now Greensboro, again Winkier and Blay Myers. And they say Blay Myers is into the net. So that'll be a point for Greensboro. That cuts the Knight lead in half. 11-10, Knights with the lead. And Grace Klingensmith One of the better servers in the USA South back to serve. Big swing by Brooklyn Madeline, goes wide. Going for the angle on that one, and just a little wide. So
Emphasis on just a little. That was so close, but just out.
So 11 all here. Klingensmith. Wink here doesn't get on top of that one. That goes into the net. So point Greensboro. They'll take a 1-point lead at 12-11. And that's Carla de Castillo goes up with the swing. That ball sails wide. Point for the Knights, and that runs things up at 12-12 here in this second set.
And right here in the second set, SVU with 9 kills, Greensboro with 2. So a wide disparity there.
Brooklyn Madeline with the ace. She hit that one into the net. That ball curled up and over.
Well, that's what Brooklyn Madeline does best. She is one of the better servers in the USA South, one of the top 10 in service aces, but she also gets a lot of service errors. So she does crazy things like that all the time.
Number 11, de Castillo, once again. 13 all. And Jaylyn Templeton back to serve for the Pride. Little floor maintenance being done here in between points. Roy Myers for Bassett. Off the block. Once again for Bassett.
Sydney Bassett!
And that point will go to the Knights off the block.
And that's just a great play to go right back to Bassett. If there's anyone who can make the little changes right there in her swing to get a point there, it's Bassett.
Gracie Fulton now back to serve. And that'll be an ace.
Gracie Fulton.
15-13 Knights. Once again, Greensboro having a little bit of trouble passing that serve off the hand of Gracie Fulton. That's 2 points in a row off of her serve.
Yeah, and it's really unusual because Greensboro is the best digging team in the entire USA South. So it's really odd these last couple points coming off of relatively just failed digs.
Especially when you consider one of them was up against Morgan Mayfield.
Yeah.
You know, as sure-handed as anybody in the conference. You know, first one, a little long. You know, hit the net, came back, and now the second one. So Knights take a 3-point lead here. 16-13, and Coach Troop for Greensboro, he decides that's long enough. He needs to change the fortune of the Pride here and takes the timeout.
And I think a big reason is that you can see Greensboro starting to kind of mentally check out. Not that they're not still in the game and not still trying to win, but just when you have a game that's so close, but you know that SVU's attack has been much stronger and than that, and a lot of your points have just come from errors from SVU instead of your own offense, you can start to get a little down on yourself when SVU starts to pull away and they stop making errors and you stop getting points. So a really good timeout by Coach Troop, trying to get his team mentally just back in the game because they have all the skills, all the players they need to.
Maybe he figured they need a little bit of reminder that even though this might be starting to look a little like the first set,
Out of the timeout,
stop.
Your Knights lead 16
You know,
to 13
get back
here
into your
in
game,
this
play defense,
Gracie
force
Fulton
SVU
to
to
serve.
go on some long rallies with you and score some points that way. So,
Absolutely. That's the key to beating SVU is making them make mistakes or go in long rallies because eventually they'll make mistakes.
and that there was a mishandle by the setter. Didn't get, or miscommunication. Maybe she thought there was going to be somebody for the quick set there in the middle, but nonetheless, that's a point for the Knights. They take a 4-point lead. Another long pass. And that off the touch of the block, and that's a point for Greensboro.
And that was Greensboro's first real attempt at a kill in a very long time. So really good for them that they got that opportunity to go because they really needed that momentum shift right there.
Kelsey Brooks, Blaymeyers now. Bassett with the tip. Good defense by the Knights to keep that alive. And Bassett tries for the kill. That's dogged by Greensboro. And that's that one. Bassett right off the block, and that'll be a point. 18-14 Knights.
And I don't even know what I just saw. SVU just pulled a miracle out of their hat on that play.
That ball never got above the net until it did.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. I cannot believe what I just saw on the defensive end for the Knights.
3 hits that all occurred below the bottom of the net, and finally that third one, they were able to slap it just high enough. And there's another hit off the block.
It's always summer here in the barn.
So point SVU, and they jump out now to a 5-point lead, 19-14. Ruby Blaymeyers back to serve. Little adrenaline there as that one sails long.
Right here, we're starting to see SVU find their stride, find their groove, and they're really good at not letting those service errors get to them, to picking right up on the defensive end and getting the ball right back.
Morgan Mayfield. And she hits it wide. So right now, Greensboro kind of trading point for point, and that's not going to be good enough in this second set.
Not at all. And that was a very accidental prediction on my part right there. Did not think that was going to happen.
Quick set, ends up with a touch. Brooklyn Madlin. Brooklyn Madlin with the kill.
Madlin!
21-15 Knights. And Coach Troop will call his second timeout of this second set. So once again, we've really seen both sets open up very similar. Where Greensboro's come out, they've gotten an early lead. The Knights have had to dig deep, try and find a way back. Second set done a little bit quicker than what they did in the first set. They've gone out to a 21-15 lead now. To this point, last set they were down 23-20 and made that last run to win the set. So, what's Coach Troop going to tell his players over here, Mark?
I think he's going to tell them to just keep trying to disrupt the SVU offense. I like to think of SVU's offense here in women's volleyball to be sort of an inertiac machine. Well, an object that remains in motion will stay in motion, or an object that's not in motion will remain not in motion. SVU's offense is a lot like that. That's why they start slow, but when they get going, they're almost impossible to stop. So if you're Greensboro, you have to force them into errors. You have to get them off kills, just like you were in the previous set where you were getting their blocks not in correct position and they were sailing out of bounds for points for you. So really you have to maintain possession and force those mistakes, especially on those blocks like you're doing in the first set.
Yeah, early on, all throughout that first set and early on in this set, there were several long rallies, and there hasn't been any for several minutes now. And I would say Coach Troop is probably telling them, just keep the ball in the air. Long points, long rallies are going to play in our favor.
Absolutely.
And you don't get any shorter, however, than an ace. Sydney Bassett out of the timeout, jumps right back there and scores an ace for the Knights. So 22-15, Bassett to serve. Greensboro earns that point. 22-16 Knights.
And that's exactly like I said. You get the blocks off kilter, off set, and you're going to get points like you did in the first set.
And Krista Brantley to serve for the Pride. And that'll be an ace for Brantley. 22-17 as Greensboro tries to rally and make a comeback here like they saw the Knights do in the first set. And that's another ace by Brantley.
This is extremely impressive serving right here. Single-handedly willing her team back into this game, into the set.
That one's handled by the Knights. And Brooklyn Madlin with the kill. So that'll put an end to that little streak there. The Knights will take a 23-18 lead. You know, volleyball, another one of the sports that's not timed. And, you know, you always say the clock's not going to save anybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Right with the hit, but that's Brenna Clyde into the net, so point goes to Greensboro. And it's 23-19 for the Knights.
I'd just like to shout out our refs here real quick, because I hardly see anything going on right there, right at the net. So it's very impressive that they keep watching, keep looking at all these things while the game is going on.
Grace Young on the serve. That was set for Clyde. She goes with the touch, and Morgan Mayfield. Who else but Morgan Mayfield for the Pride? Brooklyn Madlin, she gets blocked at the net. Brenna Clyde, and that's dug by Templeton. And that one, though, Brenna Clyde will find the line and bring the Knights to set point.
Going right there, Greensboro's deficit just went from 4 points at 23-19 to now 6 points, because now they need 24 to win it.
Jessica Stone with the serve. Kelsey Brooks goes for the angle, and that sails wide. And the Knights were able to finish out that second set, beating the Pride 25-19. So the Knights take a 2-0 advantage over the Greensboro Pride. And, you know, we talked, you know, in preparation again, Mark, that the Knights, you know, their best case scenario was to win this match, win the match Saturday against Methodist, and finish out the season at 15-3. That's the best they can hope to do, and they're well on their way to doing that right now, earning this first victory tonight. You know, ahead 2-0. Of course, they got a little work to finish it off, but so far they've been able to take care of business and put themselves in a position to where, with a little help, they could still earn a number 1 seed for the conference tournament.
Absolutely. I mean, there's some couple of interesting situations here in the USA South Conference for these standings. You have Greensboro at 4, and then SVU at 3rd, but they're tied for 1st. They have the same record, just at the way the tiebreakers fall out. They're 3rd. Salem College is 2nd due to tiebreakers, and then Methodist College at 1 due to tiebreakers. And so SVU, if they win this game, Methodist and Salem are all playing tonight. We can give you an update on how those games are going. But just very important for SVU. If they win both their games, then they are guaranteed the 2nd seed. And if Salem College loses just one out of their last 2 games, then SVU has the number 1 seed in the USA South heading into the tournament there.
You know, this all coming after, you know, SVU dropped their first match of the conference season, losing to Brevard down in Brevard, and since that time they have won 14 of their last 16 matches.
Yeah, it has been an impressive streak from SVU this last bit. Obviously, they had some skids. They're 3 out of their last 5. They lost to Greensboro 2 weeks ago and lost to Salem College a week ago. So Wednesday has not been favorable to SVU, but today might be the day they break that Wednesday curse. But it's just been an impressive run by SVU to get back into these standings and to be one of the best teams in the USA South. They've consistently been. They have got 2 conference championships in the last 3 years. And you saw the rest of the conference. They were hoping that SVU was finally done for and gone at the beginning of the year with them struggling, but SVU obviously picking it back up right where they left off, and maybe not as strong as a team as those conference championship teams, but still definitely a contender for that championship.
No, they knew it was going to be a little difficult coming into this season. They didn't have a setter. Ruby Blaymeyers, they said, hey, Ruby, we need you to move over and learn the setting position. And she's done a very good job at that. And then there have been, we noticed there are some weaknesses to their defense. But their offense is very balanced. They have several hitters they can go to. But, they're just playing gritty right now. We've seen them fall behind in each of these first 2 sets. But they really have willed their way to victory in those 2 sets. Somehow found a way.
And it's the same thing back in Meredith on Saturday. That the 3-1 set victory will not tell the whole story because, man, were those sets close on Saturday. So it's been 6 straight sets for SVU of just gritty volleyball, of just grinding it out and doing what you do best to get the wins.
As this 3rd set begins with Brooklyn Madlin serving. Sydney Bassett with the tip. And that's Kelsey Brooks going for the angle, doesn't get it up and over. And that'll be the first point of the set going to the Knights.
Well, you can imagine Coach Baker, she is not happy with her team for allowing that. Yeah, they got a break there and got the point, but that is a good play by Greensboro. They just got to execute it.
Kelsey Brooks, she hits that one long, and the Knights take a 2-0 lead. She also, Coach Baker, speaking of, wouldn't be very happy of us talking about the potential, win here tonight already, only up 2 sets. But, it's what we do to keep the broadcast interesting, right?
Absolutely.
Foreshadow just a little bit.
Coach Baker definitely has a Yogi Berra type mindset. It ain't over till it's over.
And it certainly is not, as we've seen Greensboro, where they've already beat SVU once this year. And they're a very formidable opponent. A little miscommunication there by Greensboro. And that goes down as the second point of the match for the Knights as they lead 2-1 now. And Gracie Fulton she'll go back to serve. The mop's out on the floor here as we await. Keeping that center line dry. And Gracie Fulton sends that a little long. Once again, a little bit of adrenaline. So 2-all now. Kelsey Brooks for the Pride. Sydney Bassett, she gets her kill blocked at the net. Summer Hahn with the tap. Summer Hahn with the block. Brooklyn Madlin sends it deep to the corner to Morgan Mayfield. Summer Hahn again gets a hand on that block. And that push across the net ends up selling a little wide, and that'll be a point for SVU.
Well, and that's really important for SVU because, like you said, longer points usually tend to benefit Greensboro. So it was really important for them to win that long back and forth, that long rally there. Knights keeping Greensboro on the ropes.
Free ball for the Knights. Blaymeyers to Clyde, and that's dug by Templeton. Sydney Bassett with the kill.
Sydney Bassett.
And we haven't heard Sydney Bassett's name as much as we usually do, but they're an important point right there to keep this third set going in SVU's favor.
Absolutely. Ball's dug by Blaymeyers. And then Sydney Bassett tries to go with the touch to the back corner. Sells a little long, and that'll be a point for Greensboro.
Morgan Mayfield, to serve.
Mayfield back to serve for the Pride. Touched over by Brantley. And Brenna Clyde gets on top of that one and sends it to the floor. 5-3 Knights.
Well, and that right there is what we talked about in the first set, how SVU tends in the first set to be susceptible to those little taps, but then as the game goes on, it becomes a non-factor. In fact, it might benefit SVU because it gets them a lot of free balls there. And so, perfect example for SVU.
And that time right there, you had Brenna Clyde one-on-one with just one blocker across the net from her, and that's going to be hard to defend.
That's almost never going to work against Brenna Clyde. She just hits the ball way too dang hard for that to work.
Bassett with the serve. It's Summer Hahn.
Brenna and Summer combined for that one.
Point SVU. Bassett back to serve once again. He gets the touch off the top of the net. Ace. Sydney Bassett.
Doing her best Brooklyn Madeline impression right there.
Yeah, that's two of those in what, the last 14 points maybe? Well-timed block by Summer Hahn. Blaymeyers for Madeline. And that's dug by Bassett. But Fulton unable to get back there to keep that off the ground. Point goes to Greensboro.
This has to be about the best blocking game I've seen of volleyball. Both these teams' fronts just doing an incredible job getting hands on the ball.
Brenna Clyde with the touch. That's brought up, and that's dug by Fulton, but that'll go out of bounds and be a point once again for Greensboro.
And that was number 10, Taylor Cody, who is the tallest person out there at 6 feet tall. Very impressive player right there.
Brentley with the serve. Madeline goes off the top of the net again. Brenna Clyde against two blockers gets the point.
And Brenna Clyde is starting to kind of take over here in this third set. She's the one propelling SVU's offense to keep this 3-point lead.
I'm sure Coach Baker won't be upset if Brenna Clyde decides to take over this third set. Bailey Savage on to serve for the Knights. Big swing there by number 6. That's Peyton Wright for Greensboro. So Greensboro find themselves down 8-6 here in this third set. Grace Young back to serve for the Pride. Brenna Clyde, easy over. Kelsey Brooks, dug by Madeline. And Brenna Clyde with the hit. Goes right back to her, she sends it over. And then that is Taylor Kotai sending that right at Gracie Fulton. That'll be a point for the Pride.
It's a good run there going on here to tie up this game. Or to at least try to tie up this game, sorry.
Grace Young now serving as the Pride try and tie it here on this point. Madeline with the swing, dug by Mayfield. Kelsey Brooks. And that goes through the block and finds its way to the ground to tie up this score in this third set, 8-all.
Well, I guess that makes my stats for this game 1 accidental prediction per set right now. I do not mean to predict these things.
Greensboro fans, they'll be all right with that. We're here for both sides.
That's true.
And that ball sails long.
Timeout.
And Greensboro now takes a 1-point lead as they've battled back from a 7-3 deficit to now take a 9-8 lead here in this third set.
That's a great timeout by Coach Baker. I mean, it's really early in the set for a timeout, especially with such a small deficit. But if you're Coach Baker, you do not want this going to a fourth set. You want this down and out, ready to go by the end of this set. And you have to keep up this momentum. SVU has to maintain those 3, 4, 5-point leads if they want to take this third set.
No, absolutely. You wouldn't typically think that you'd see a timeout called unless it was like 9-0 or something this early in the set. But you know, she's coaching to win this set right now. You know, and she's happy to use this timeouts, whatever she has to do to try and keep some momentum, you know, in favor of her ninth squad.
Well, another big reason for the timeout in the second set, as the kill count for each team, SVU 16, Greensboro 6. So a very wide deficit for Greensboro, and obviously positive for SVU. This set so far, 9-8. Greensboro with 5 kills, SVU with 4. So the script has kind of flipped there on the offensive side for the team. So you look at that stat and you're like, as Coach Baker, you're like, we gotta change this. Something's going on here if we're allowing more kills than we're doing. So.
Yep, 2 things could be playing into that stat. Number 1, SVU not being quite as aggressive with their hits, or number 2, Greensboro stepping up the defense. But either way, you've got to find something for you. You have to make your offense. And right out of the timeout, there's an errant pass by Madeline, and that's a point for Greensboro. So Grace Young has taken her Pride squad on a little bit of a run here behind her serve. Madeline with the pass to Blaymeyers. And Brenna Clyde says that's enough. Brenna Clyde goes up high, sends that to the floor. And that'll stop that run, and hopefully for the Knights, give them a little bit of momentum. As Jessica Stone will come in to serve. Great swing there by Brenna. Touched over there by Kotai. And Madeline, somebody was in the net. Greensboro, so the Knights, just like that, they come back even to score at 10-10 here in this third set. Jessica Stone, once again, back to serve. Uncharacteristic of her, she hits that into the middle of the net. Greensboro takes a 1-point lead at 11-10. And Grace Klingensmith back to serve for the Pride.
And those service errors always just pile up for SVU. Currently, SVU sitting at 8 service errors to Greensboro's 4. So that's always been a huge thing for SVU, is limiting those service errors.
Good touch there by Kelsey Brooks to send that all the way across the court. Brooklyn Madeline, she made a diving attempt, but she got it up and over the net, but couldn't quite keep it in bounds.
Yeah, great play by Greensboro, and if Madeline's had stayed in bounds, that would have been an even better play by Brooklyn Madeline, but Greensboro definitely earning that point there.
So 12-10 Greensboro. Klingensmith on the serve again. Set for Winkier. And Winkier off the block will find its way to the ground and a point for the Knights.
Yeah, the way that Winkier and Summer Hahn and Brenna Clyde can sometimes wind up, that slow, methodical wind-up can just be so off-putting for the defense. That's why you have those mix-ups. You have the high flyers in Brooklyn Madeline and Brenna Clyde, and then you have those slow wind-ups that just completely confuse the defense.
Somehow that, Greensboro had a little bit of trouble with that service. Somehow got the ball over the net, missed the block, and then SVU mishandles it. and gives, you know what, I'm sure Coach Baker would say it was an easy point for the Pride.
Yeah. See, it's points like that, you look at this SVU team and I'm like, man, it's 13-11 right now. It should be 12-12. And that doesn't seem like that huge. It's right in the middle of the set, but that can be a momentum swing. That can be everything to a set. So,
well, like we started the broadcast with, you know, it's a matter of limiting your unforced errors. And Sydney Bassett with the kill. She goes high and gets that one down. So 13-12 now is the Knights behind the serve of Gracie Fulton. Look to tie this set. Fulton with a good serve. Kelsey Brooks, easy over. Blaymeyers for Bassett with the tip. Greensboro again with the angle. Krista Brantley.
and Krista Brantley has had herself a game. It has been a very, very good game for her. She's hitting 250 right now with that one added in. She has a block and a half. She has 14 digs, 11.5 points, leading her team. She has absolutely been the MVP for the Pride this night.
And nothing really powerful, just she's always kind of calculating with where she sends the ball. Blaymeyers. Bassett blocked and dogged now by Mayfield. And that is blocked by Summer Hahn. And then Morgan Mayfield with a quick dump up and over. And that puts Greensboro out to a 15-12 lead here now in this third set.
Well, now that Greensboro has discovered that's been one of SVU's biggest weaknesses, is that second touch attack. They normally never expect that for SVU. The reason Meredith College did so well on Saturday was a big part of that, was that second touch attack.
So Blaymeyers now, quick set. Summer Hahn, but that's dug back there by number 7, Lily Burson. Hit there by Brooklyn Madlin. And Morgan Mayfield with great effort, but that's going to be a point off the hand of Brooklyn Madlin.
Ruby Blaymeyers now serving.
And the barn coming into serious play right there. That low ceiling absolutely crushing the Pride, ruining their streak right there, giving SVU some momentum.
And now Ruby Blaymeyers back to serve for the Knights. Mayfield. And Summer Hahn. She's going to reach over and send that one down with the easy tap. There are times when Summer Hahn just takes over sets with her presence there in the middle.
Yeah, you normally don't see that from a defensive main player, but man.
And that's an ace off the hand of Blaymeyers. And that ties this third set up at 15.
And if I'm not mistaken, that is Ruby Blaymeyer's second service ace in this game.
And now Blaymeyers will look to put her team ahead here in this third set. Swing by Brantley. Goes off of Bassett, and that'll be a point for Greensboro.
And that was about as close an out-of-bounds call as you could ever have. SVU wanted that one back.
So here we are, this third set been very back and forth now. You know, SVU rallied to tie it back up, and now Greensboro had 16-15. Mayfield with the serve. Madlin tries to get a little too cute with that one. As it was the third hit, they just needed to get it over and extend the point. And so Greensboro now with a 2-point lead, 17-15.
And this set's feeling like the script's reversed. Is that normally SVU has been falling behind and then coming back to win the sets. This one SVU took the early lead and now is falling behind to presumably for Greensboro to take this one away like SU did in the first 2 sets.
Yeah, and that's another ace off the hand of Mayfield. You know, for that one there, looks like maybe that one's going to sell long in summer, or Brooklyn Madlin. At the last second, decided to try and pop that one up. But sailed off her arms and went out of bounds. So, you know, here we have Coach Baker calling this timeout. You know, we saw it work in the first set. They were down 23-20. They were able to come back out on the floor and score 3 points in a row and end up winning that set. And now they find themselves down again, once again by 3 points. They'll be looking to come back out and, you know, first of all, winning this point. First of all, win the serve and see them go on a little run.
Absolutely, and I mean, there's a lot more wiggle room here for SVU than there was in that last one. 18 is a much easier score to overcome than 23. Absolutely. So a really good timeout from Coach Baker here to give SVU a plan and a direction to take this point and to take the rest of this set.
Out of the timeout, Pride unites 18-15 here in the third set. Morgan Mayfield to serve.
Morgan Mayfield, Knights
Sydney Bassett.
do all they can to keep that serve up in the air. And in the end, Sydney Bassett comes through with a touch.
Well, and you love to see that from Brooklyn Madlin. She had a couple missed passes, missed digs, and in those last couple points. So right there, redeeming herself with a perfect dig for the point for SVU is great to see.
Ball blocked again there by Summer Hahn. Now Blaymeyers to Clyde. Burnett pulls the block and goes for a point for Brenna Clyde.
That was about the weirdest attack block I've ever seen in my life. Stuck just right there. The blockers had no idea where it went.
So 18-17 Greensboro. Sydney Bassett on the serve. And that goes off the SVU block. Out of bounds and a point for Greensboro.
That was probably a bad dig right there. That looked like that angle was going to go out of bounds.
Yeah, it was a little hesitant as well. So. Greensboro ahead, 2017. Another long rally, Brooklyn Madlin. Off the block to the point. 2018.
Bailey Savage to serve.
And you gotta like how Madlin's responded after a couple mistakes. Now she's made 2 really good plays coming out of the timeout.
And now Bailey Savage. And that ball off the arm of Peyton Wright with the kill. So 21-18 Greensboro.
Grace Young to serve.
And Grace Young will go back to serve for the Pride.
I think that play was a demonstration of how effective spin is in this game. We don't talk about it much, but man, was that one undiggable because of the spin.
And that is an ace for Grace Young.
And you're still in danger, my man. That ball's been trying to find you all night.
The ball has eyes. Brenna Clyde with the tip to the middle of the defense. And Kelsey Brooks with the kill. So 23-18 Greensboro. There's the Knights now. See what they can find. Fulton to Blaymeyers. Brenna Clyde And she's blocked at the net. Clyde again. That's dug by Young. Kotai. And Brooklyn Madeline now off the block. Dug again by Grace Young. Kotai with the touch. And that's point Greensboro.
Set point for the
Set
Pride.
point now for Greensboro here in this third set.
And you can tell Greensboro just has SVU just out of rhythm, out of position in just every play. So really good job by Greensboro forcing this very desperate situation for SVU.
And there we
Set
see
3 goes to the Pride.
the barn roof come into play for the Knights
Set
there.
4 coming up.
Because that ball switched directions off the beam. Made it difficult for Brenna Clyde, and that ends the third set with Greensboro coming out on top 25-18. So we'll go ahead and have a little break here. Timeout in between sets. The teams will change benches here.
And I mean, what can you say about Greensboro's play right there? They did near perfectly in that set. At the end of the second set, they were looking a little bit off kilter, maybe just not their head's not in the game, but they came out of that third set, animals against the wall, ready to go and ready to just take on this SVU team. They got 14 kills to SVU's 11, and to outkill this SVU team is a feat in itself.
Especially when we talk about, that's not as much Greensboro's game as it is SVU's. Greensboro, their defensive stats are very good. So it just shows they really tried to eke out, those long rallies, long points, try to extend, each set as long as they can, for them to out-hit, the Knights in that third set. It's pretty impressive for them.
Yeah, and if you're SVU, really the clear, obvious thing that you need to fix going into this fourth set is really just serving, both receiving the serve and serving yourself. SVU with 2 service errors to Greensboro's 0 service errors in that set, and SVU had 2 service aces, but Greensboro had 4. So that's a 4-point swing in that difference of just things that SVU really can control in what they do. So it's extremely important because you flip that, and it's 22-21 in favor of SVU with those 4 points, that 4-point swing. So it's up to SVU to really focus in on serving and not let it beat them like it just did there.
Yeah, perhaps, Greensboro, not Greensboro, perhaps SVU, some of the players like us, looking ahead a little bit, not ever a good thing. You can't afford to lose your focus on that. Like we said early on, Coach Baker took that timeout at 9-8, which seemed early at the time, but like we said, wanted to remind your team that, hey, you got to win 3 sets to win a match. It doesn't matter if you go 2-0, you still got to win that third set in order to get the match. So she's going to hope that her team come out a little bit more focused here in this third set, and take care of business. Cut down those unforced errors like you're talking about.
Absolutely.
You never want to give a team, a quarter, a match, an inning, whatever sport you're playing, because of unforced errors. You want to make them earn everything that they get.
For sure, and while Greensboro is down 2-1 in the sets, they have all the momentum right now. It is firmly in their camp, so SVU has to do the hard work of fighting uphill, of taking back the momentum, even though they're up.
Your Knights lead 2-1.
And what I think is really interesting is that each set has followed the same script, but just for each team. Whichever team takes the early lead in the set has been the one to end up losing the set ultimately. So it has been very interesting to see these sets play out.
Greensboro, obviously, they'll be a little bolstered by winning that third set, so you look for them to come out with a quick start. But SVU, they're going to want to be clean as can be here. See if they can get out to an early lead. Good serve by Templeton. Kelsey Brooks, that's dug by Fulton. And that hit goes long. And that'll be a point for the Knights. So the Knights take the first point of this fourth set. Fulton with the serve. Just into the top of the net, so that'll even things up at 1 apiece. So there we see first attempt of the serve and 1 unforced there by the Nets, so by the Knights. So
Kelsey Brooks now serving.
they're gonna have to be a little bit better than that if they're gonna want to come out on top here.
Absolutely, and I think oftentimes it's due to trying to make the big play, like get the service ace, when in reality you just need a good serve to get the ball in play.
Kelsey Brooks does the same thing, unfortunately, for the Pride. She hits it in the middle of the net, so teams trade service errors there.
Is it just me, or are service errors usually followed by a second service error nearly every time?
Seems to happen more often than you would think. Or at least that any coach would say that it should. Krista Brantley with the kill for the Pride.
Morgan Mayfield to serve.
And now Morgan Mayhew. She'll step back to serve for the Pride. Scores 2-2 here in this 4th set. Blay Myers for Clyde. And that goes off of 2 Pride and the corner referee, and that'll be a point for the Knights.
That ball hitting everyone on that play.
But not me.
Oh, that's true. You're safe for now.
The ball has changed victims. Templeton, toe tie, that's dug by Fulton. Kind of a tough play there for the Knights. We got 1 dig and then another one popped it up. And it's left Brenna Clyde to hit about a 40-foot over the top of her head.
And
back toward the net.
And like we talked about, in most volleyball arenas, that's not going to be a problem. But in SVU, in the barn, that's going to be a problem.
Good serve there by Brantley. And that's another point for the Pride. So 4-3 now. And that ball will sail long and wide. And that'll even us up at 4 apiece.
Here's SVU's chance to break the double error curse. There it is.
Haley Savage.
Caitlin Wenker.
Peyton Wright goes off the block. And the Knights go up 5-4. Bailey Savage, Templeton. Caitlin Wankier with the block. Scores the point for the Knights.
Is that back-to-back blocks for Wankier?
I believe it is.
2 in a row.
Incredible defensive prowess there from Wankier. She's 6th in blocks per set in the USA South.
Savage with another good serve. And that goes off Wankier and Clyde. Able to hit right between the arms. And that's a point for Greensboro.
Greensboro not afraid to keep attacking Wankier, which is probably the right call, is to reestablish that you don't get every block.
Grace Young to serve for the Pride. Madeline gets it over. Good dig by Young. Brenna Clyde. And she'll find the corner. Clyde with the kill. 7-5 SVU.
Jessica Stone to serve.
Jessica Stone back to serve for the Knights. Kelsey Brooks, dug by Gracie Fulton. And Brooklyn Madeline with a full swing and the kill. 8-5 Knights.
And that's so important to just keep that rotating. I often really hope in these volleyball games to never say the same person on the kill twice in a row. So going from Brenna Clyde to Brooklyn Madeline, hopefully to to Sydney Bassett after this. That's what we want SVU's offense to be.
quick hitter there from Kotai. And that's a point for the Pride. And now Klingensmith back to serve.
And Klingensmith has been very quiet today.
Knights have done well at handling her serve and getting her out after only one serve. And the broadcaster curse.
We are really on one right now. We're still at one set, one prediction per set.
Broadcaster charm, maybe Greensboro fans are saying. If there's one time she scored a point, not with an ace, but that's her first ace of the match. Greensboro. Brooks with the touch. And that's Doug. And now the Knights. Fulton gets to it, but it ends up as a point, and Greensboro ties this back up at 8.
Well, in this set's going a little bit differently than the previous 3. No team really coming out. The largest lead has been 2 points so far.
Able to build too much momentum this far. Klingensmith with her 3rd serve now in a row. Knights are able to return that. Here's Brooks with the swing. And that's a point for Greensboro. And they take a 9-8 lead.
And you've seen it a couple times tonight with SVU. It's just, it seems like digs are happening too early. When they're going to a natural spot, a natural player, and it just seems digs are happening too early for SVU.
Madlin with a big hit. Blocked. Madlin splits the block and scores the point, and that'll tie the set back up at 9.
Now serving.
So even then, Greensboro with a little run, but no separation.
Madlin now with the serve. That's coming over. Caitlin Wake here knows what to do with that. She sends that right back down to the floor. And the Knights go up 10-9.
That is so impressive. That is her 3rd point off a block this set so far. Winkier has been absolutely dominant this set.
Madlin with another good serve. Kelsey Brooks. Dug by Madlin. Nope. Greensboro sets their offense up again. And Caitlin Wake here is unable to get out of the way of that pass. The Knights have handled the initial hit. It was coming too fast right at her. So a point goes to Greensboro. Good swing by Wankier. Dug there by Jessica Stone. And Brantley goes off the block to score another point for Greensboro. And they take an 11-10 lead here in this 4th set.
And at this point, both teams just trading 2-point runs right here to each take the lead and take it right back.
Jaylyn Templeton back to serve. Brantley once again. Like I said before, Brantley doesn't show a lot of power. She's there, she's picking apart the block, and does just enough to get it past the block and find the floor.
Absolutely. It's those type of players that you need to have on your team, not necessarily to build around, but to use as components to build a great team.
Bassett. Dug by Young. Kelsey Brooks with the touch and the block. Brantley sends it over for Greensboro. And that's Caitlin Wink here with the tip. Brantley once again, and that's dug by Fulton. Good from Madlin. And Kelsey Brooks sends more of a little touch shot to the back line and puts Greensboro now ahead 13-10. So the first bit of separation that we've really seen here in this 4th set, Mark.
Absolutely. Greensboro going on an incredible run to make that happen.
Wink here, dug by Brantley. Madlin from the back row with a hit. Another long rally here. Sydney Bassett has seen enough.
That was about the most stop that hit I have ever seen. That one rifled even Brenna Clydes from the third set where she just said, I'm done, we're ending this run right here. Great hit by Sydney Bassett.
One of those moments where she steps up and just puts an end to it.
Especially since we haven't heard from her much in the third and fourth sets here.
And that swing by Brantley goes wide. That's a point for the Knights. Just barely missed, too.
Yeah,
another good shot by Brantley.
That's about as inbounds as out of bounds gets.
Fulton. It's Young to Templeton. And Kelsey Brooks comes up with the hit. She'll get that kill.
And that felt a bit like her way of saying that's enough right there. That's enough of that comeback. This is a team. These are two teams trading blows. They're tired. It's the fourth set, and they're just wanting to finish this up. Obviously not Greensboro. They don't want to finish this up. They want to go to a fifth set. But
they're looking to push it. Kelsey Brooks keeps her Pride up by 2 here, and she'll go back to serve. Blameyer sets up Bassett.
Sydney Bassett!
And maybe Sydney Bassett is about ready to take this set over.
SU would definitely need it, but we're just seeing the two best players on the floor, Kelsey Brooks and Sydney Bassett. Offensively speaking, the two best players on the floor just going back and forth. Two of the most elite offensive weapons in the USA South.
Ruby Blameyers. Mayfield pops that up. Dug by Fulton. And now Sydney Bassett. Mayfield is able to save it for the Pride. And Brooklyn, or Summer Hahn rather. And Summer Hahn. She's sent that one to the back row, looking for Kelsey Brooks. That goes off Brooks' shoulder for a point for the Knights.
I absolutely love that. When you have Sydney Bassett who's saying, stop it, we are taking the ball back, who do you last expect the ball to go to? Summer Hahn, and that's the exact person they went to because that was the least expected right there.
So Summer Hahn gets the kill and pulls the Knights even at 14 with the Pride here in this fourth set. Blaemeyers to serve once again. Mayfield. Blaemeyers, that's another ace for her. Her first of this fourth set.
Her third overall. She's done an extremely good job serving.
And the Knights, just like that, come back from a 3-point deficit to take a 1-point lead now. And Krista Brantley, the steady Krista Brantley.
And that was the most power we've seen out of her all night. She was an extremely just right down the middle gut punch.
She was definitely looking to put some momentum into that one. And so now Morgan Mayfield, she'll step back and serve for this Pride. And just like that, scores an ace. And the Pride back up by 1. Sydney Bassett. Peyton Wright, and that's blocked by Brenna Clyde. And Brenna Clyde puts it into the block, but that stays on the Pride side of the net. And that'll be a point.
Sydney Bassett to serve.
For SVU.
And we started to see these front defensive players start to wear down first over the course of this game. A lot more offense, a lot more kills so far as the game has gone on. The blocking really going to a minimum.
Good block there by Summer Hahn. Summer Hahn dug by Mayfield. Peyton Wright dug by Fulton. And then Brooklyn Madlin. As Sydney Bassett did just a few minutes ago, she'd seen enough of that rally. And Brooklyn Madlin with the kill puts the Knights up 17-16.
And we're starting to see that well-rounded attack start to emerge again.
Sydney Bassett on the serve. Templeton. And that is number 3, Templeton on the hit. Actually, Templeton with the set. Brantley with the hit. With the kill. 17 all. Brantley on the serve. Blaymeyers for Clyde. And Brenna with the kill. 18-17 Knights.
Bailey Savage to serve.
And this has been just such an extremely close set. No one getting a larger lead than 3, which has not happened any of the previous sets. At this point, someone had a 4 or 5 point lead so far. So an extremely close set for these two teams.
Peyton Wright, Clyde with a block. Set up for Madlin. And that goes off the block. And that's a point for the Knights. 19-17. And what's been fun about this set is the best players from both teams are showing up.
Absolutely. You've got multiple kills from Brenna Clyde, Sydney Bassett, and Brooklyn Madlin, Kelsey Brooks, and Krista Brantley going crazy over there.
Templeton has had a very good set, serving, mixing it up. And of course, Morgan Mayfield and Grace Young on defense. So
absolutely.
It's been a much better played set than the previous one, I would imagine. And with that, an ace by Bailey Savage. And that stakes the Knights out to a 3-point lead, but 20-17, and Coach Kevin Troop decides to call his first time out of this 4th set.
Yeah, and Bailey Savage right there, her second service ace of the game. The first one coming to end the first set to win the Knights that one 26-24. And that's a decisive point right there. That could be very important for SVU. Still 5 points to go, but a really solid 3-point lead here at 20-17.
Yeah, it's always good to have a 3-point margin as you hit that 20-point mark. Of course, Greensboro, though, they have come back time and time again, even though the Knights might be out to a 3 or 4 point lead. Greensboro has come back time and time again, so I'm sure Coach Debbie Baker is over there telling her squad, do not count them out. They can score 3 points very quickly.
Absolutely. The biggest thing for me so far that explains this 3-point lead, SVU is winning the service battle. We talked about that in the middle, in between sets. SVU only has 1 service error to the Pride's 2, and then they're equal on service aces. So they're winning the service battle, and that was what killed them that 3rd set.
And that's what hurt them. And they had the very first serve of the match, right, went into the net. Bailey Savage back to serve again. And that one misplayed a bit by the Pride defense. That goes over and is sent down for a point by the Knights. Bailey Savage with a 4-point lead. Again, so the Knights will have a hit. Brenna Clyde, that's blocked by Kotai and Wright. And then Wright, she hits it right into Brenna Clyde for a point for the Pride. So 21-18 now.
And Peyton Wright with probably the most important point the Pride has had all night right there, stopping that SVU run.
And Grace Young will go back to serve. She'll serve for the Pride. And a block there by Kotai. And so after that timeout, Greensboro has come back in. It scored 2 points, cut the lead to 2. Blaymeyers for Clyde. Isn't the cut.
And that's the thing you want from your seniors. You notice that your big power, your big swings aren't working. They're getting blocked. You're losing points. So instead, switch it up. Get a more precise, soft touch right to the other side.
Jessica Stone back to serve now for the Knights. Brantley. Kelsey Brooks, that's dug by Gracie Fulton. Caitlin Wink here with the touch. Kelsey Brooks. Brooklyn Madeline, that's dug by Mayfield. Kelsey Brooks again. Fulton sets that up for Madeline. Off the block, that stays for the Knights. And Madeline with another big swing that goes out of bounds. 22-20 Knights.
That was just some great defensive work by the Pride right there. Going back to their identity, their roots, what they're best at than anyone else in the USA South. Just keeping the ball in the air until your opponent makes a mistake.
And here's Grace Klingensmith, her last time in. She served 4 points. Madeline winds up. Grace Young with the dig. And then Caitlin Wankier and Ruby Blaymeyers team up for the block. Send that back to the Pride, and the Knights go up 23-20 now. And Brooklyn Madeline back to serve.
And as good as Brenna Clyde, Sydney Bassett, and Brooklyn Madeline have been, the MVP so far for SVU in this set has been Wankier. That's 4 points off blocks right there.
Madeline with a heavy serve that Greensboro just cannot get back over. Not an ace, but a good, strong, heavy serve. And now the Knights serve match point. Kelsey Brooks. Off the block of Wankier and Blaymeyers. There you have it once again, Wankier. That makes it 5 points for her off the block.
5 points in that fourth set off the block. Wankier going absolutely crazy to win SVU that match.
So Caitlin Wankier stepping up in this fourth and final set of this match, where, you know, even though the final score is 3-1 for SVU, that doesn't really tell the story of the volleyball that was played out here on this court this evening, as Greensboro put up a very, very good display of volleyball.
Absolutely. The difference for SVU between this game and 2 weeks ago when they lost to Greensboro was the errors. SVU only having more, like 1 or 2 or 3 more errors, as opposed to last time where they had 7 more errors. So early SVU just playing just a bit more disciplined, and that led to the win as opposed to the loss last time.
Absolutely. So like we talked about earlier in the broadcast, you know, less unforced errors. Play hard, play together as a team. You know, the Knights really, they just really ground out this victory. You always like to see a team grind out a victory. And I would say the Knights were able to accomplish that this evening.
Absolutely. And just to mention the statistical leaders for both teams, for SVU, for kills, you had Sydney Bassett, Brenna Clyde, and Brooklyn Madeline. You had Brooklyn Madeline with 15, Brenna Clyde and Sydney Bassett with 16. You had Krista Brantley for Greensboro with 15, and Kelsey Brooks with 13. As for assists, you had Blaymeyers and Templeton, both above 40. Templeton with 46, Blaymeyers with 42. And, of course, the service aces, Morgan Mayfield going absolutely crazy. You think of her, she's the defensive player of the week. She had 4 service aces, along with Krista Brantley with 3. And then for SVU, Sydney Bassett and Ruby Blaymeyers both with 3 service aces. And then blocks. Can we talk about the blocks? Summer Hahn, Brenna Clyde, and Caitlin Winkler all with 2.5 blocks today. Just an absolutely dominant showing up front. For Greensboro, you had Taylor Cody with 2 and Krista Brantley with 1.5 blocks right there. So just an absolute great showing for SVU, but much closer than the final score will have you think.
Well, absolutely. So we want to thank Greensboro for a great match. Wish them well as they close out the USA South season on Saturday. And we want to thank everybody for joining us here on Knights Broadcasting. As always, thank you. We appreciate everybody watching. For Mark Duffin, I'm Colby Kemp. We wish everybody a good night. Stay safe out there and go Knights.
Ladies and gentlemen, we need you all to clear the court as soon as possible so women's basketball can get on and practice. Thank you.